Okay, so we ready? So Judy, playlist is a Saturday morning stretch. The first song is Claire de Lune. And we'll get started now at a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press your buttons. And here we go. All right, so we're gonna start on our backs in that heart opening position. So you're gonna take your blocks, one like so that you've got something to rest your shoulder blades on, and one like this so that you can rest your head on it. Okay. So if this doesn't work for you, you can also use just roll yourself up a towel. And what's nice about this kind of idea is you can make it you can customize it. So you can actually keep your head on the ground and just, do this or do this with your head on the pillow still, whatever works. And then we're gonna just start to find that. So I always slide my hands down. First, I will find that position through the shoulder so that I'm here without arms. I can hold it. And then it's just about leaning that head back to find that next block. Once you get into this position, make sure that you are completely comfortable. And this is or should be a completely comfortable heart opening position. If you feel that it's not working for you, then again, you can always come down. So instead of being so high, you can bring it down to this level, and then you're just gonna switch the blocks. So this is just half the amount of heart opener, but still opening the heart. So this will also give you that expansiveness through the chest, open up the arms, and just settle here. And while in this position, as an encouragement for more opening, just feel the tops of the shoulders lift up and over towards the back as if they're cascading down towards the floor by your ears. And we all know that if we bring our mind's eye or awareness to an area, energy will flow there. So where the mind goes, energy flows. And you can try that as you breathe and feel this expanse to the chest. Notice that when you bring your awareness to it, it makes the feeling almost double. And if you double up the inhale, so the expansiveness, also double up the exhale and the release. Everything through the nose. I'm just going to lift myself back up to the higher one. So if you're up on this high one and you're ready for a little bit more, and again, this is completely a personal thing, you can take your top block and level it off with the bottom one. So it becomes a deeper curve in the chest. Now, what you want to watch out for in this, does it pull on the neck here? And if it does, then of course you want to bring yourself back up. This is supposed to be relaxing, not jarring. And this position can be jarring for the neck, and we don't want that. Notice what's going on with your feet, and if you're in bound angle, legs out straight. Let's start to walk our legs back so that they are in knees bent, feet about hip width apart. And we're gonna stretch the arms up over the head, nice stretch here. Feel the stretch from the tailbone all the way through the spine. And then we're gonna take the hands behind the head and interlace them. Now, I know some of you have neck issues. You may just want to stay with the heart opener. It's completely up to you. We're doing a little upper abdominals now to begin with. So if you want to join, you can always try to just draw the elbows in towards each other so that the elbows or the arms are working and the head is hanging. That's up to you. But we're gonna, if you're joining me here, we're gonna remove the block behind our neck, our head, and just start to look up. Arms working, elbows hugging in, and then come back down. Inhale up. And down. I'm gonna switch my breath, sorry. I'm exhaling up, so I'm squeezing the air. And inhale, opening. Exhale. And open. Elbows come together. Squeeze the air out. Inhale, open up, and the elbows can open with you. So you can continue like this. Or you can press into the left leg, and as you draw the right knee up, you can take the left elbow towards it. Inhale, bring the foot down, open up, and switch to the second side. Squeeze. Now, coming forward, now hold, and then draw it in just a little bit more, and then release. Knee comes in, and then we squeeze just a little more, and then come down. Let's do another few sets. Really open up on the inhale. It's a nice little stretch after the containment or the contraction. Last one. Now the arms here, the head is not moving at all, by the way. It's all arm work. I think that's about it. And just take a moment now and just feel out the work that you've created here. And then we're going to take our hands underneath, draw the chin in, and just lift up. From here, take the block out, roll yourself back down. Keep the block close. So if you came on Wednesday, we did this one. This is kind of fun. Okay, it's not fun, it's hard. Heel into the block, and then the thigh presses, the block pulls onto the back of the thigh, just like so. Okay. So you can stay like that, or next one, knee and elbow. Then we're going to stretch the left leg straight, stretch the left arm out. Keep squeezing through the right side as we exhale, elbow and left elbow, left knee. Inhale, stretch up and down. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale up. So if you don't have blocks here, again, a book will work, hardcover best. You can place a can between your legs, or, a beer can works. 5, we're going to do 5 more. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, contract. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, contract. 3, 2, and 1. Now as we come in, let's hold squeeze. Both sides really squeezing hard. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Feel all that heat building up in the belly. And then release, starting releasing with the one at the elbow, and then take the one out of your heel, stretch up, give yourself a little rock around. That was a lot, you can move around as much as you want. And we'll start the second side. So the heel and the thigh first, squeeze. the knee and the elbow squeeze. Right arm, right leg, reach out and away. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale out. And exhale, squeeze in. 3, 4 big breaths. 5. One more set of 5. 4, and our last one here. Stretch out, squeeze in, hold. Squeeze, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. Just release those to the side again, just take a nice big stretch. Feel all the warmth generating from your belly. Who needs, see, when it's cold outside, you can always find a way to build up a little heat. All right, so draw the knees into the chest. We're going to try one last thing here. This time without any blocks, we're going to take the arms up. Stretch the right leg straight, stretch the arms up overhead, and then as you come in, let's take that knee up towards the upper arm and squeeze. Inhale, stretch that away. Come back in. Left. Stretch the left leg away. Hug it in, try to draw it as high up the underarm as you can. Squeeze here. And then release. And draw both knees in. Stretch both out, and you can draw them up as high as you need so the low back stays on the floor. And then squeeze and lifting your head and shoulders, squeeze upper arms into knees. Turn the palms up, bring the toes together. Beautiful, feel that work? And then again, open up. Exhale, squeeze in, looking up at the hands, toes together, and your upside down little Bakasana. And then stretch out. And last time, squeeze. Ears back. Press arms arms and legs into one another. And then release. And just shake it out. Nice work. All right, so you can roll yourself up. Come onto your hands and knees. Press the hands into the floor, and here you can just start to rock a little bit from side to side. You can also be seated here, just find a way to kind of stretch the area that you've just strengthened. A little cat and cow, maybe a little cement truck churner. Excellent. Let's take our right hand, and just turn it out to the side. And if it feels okay to do both at the same time, go for it and just rock back and forth a little bit. If it doesn't feel good, then just do one and then the other. Now, if it feels okay to turn the palms all the way around, go for it. If it's way too much, walk your knees a little forward, bend the elbows a little bit too. Beautiful. You can also do this one seated. And if you're doing it seated, sometimes it's easier to do it on a block. Okay. Now we're going to curl the toes under, start to roll the hands up, and just give them a nice little shake out. Okay, press your hands in the floor. Let's roll up onto our heels. Come into a forward fold. And your hands can be on blocks here, let the back of the neck be long. Press into the left leg. Let's start to press the hands into the floor and draw that right hip up towards the sky, not up towards the right sky, or the right side of the wall, right up towards the ceiling. Press down to the big toe mound here. Beautiful. Bend both knees again and come back through center. Let's switch to the second side, lifting that outer left hip up towards the sky. back of the neck nice and long. Keep breathing. Bend both knees and fold forward. Let's start to roll ourselves up. And as you press down to the floor, stretch the arms up over the head. Now grab hold of the right hand, reach it up towards the sky, lengthen up. And then we can start to arch over towards the left, keeping that right shoulder leaning back against that imaginary wall. Your heart reaches up towards the right hand. The right shoulder drops down the back. Can you feel the breath rolling through you as you inhale, pressing the feet into the floor and reaching all the way up now to the hand? And as you exhale, that breath rooting you back down through the feet just a little bit more. One more breath like that. As we inhale, we're going to come all the way back up, big stretch. Reach that left arm up first. Drop the shoulders down, soften through the back of the rib. We'll start to reach up and over towards the right now. Again, just be mindful of that left shoulder. We don't want it to drop forward. We actually are looking at it lined up with the right one and the heart reaching up towards that left hand. Breath moving right from the sole of the foot all the way up through the fingers. One last breath like that. Beautiful. Inhale all the way back up. And we'll release the hands. Just give your shoulders a nice little shake out. Let's come to the front of our mat. Let's start some sun salutations. All right. Feet about hip width apart, toes facing, wiggle out your toes a little bit. And then coming into your mountain, just taking your hands to your hips and feeling a little extra rooting down through the floor. Let's take our arms down as we inhale, we'll look up, palms together. Exhale, fold forward. Hands are going to slide up towards the shins as we come into our flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor, we'll step our right leg back. Wiggle the right foot back in space a little bit and pull the legs towards each other. As we exhale, start to bend that back knee towards the floor, it almost touches. And then press out through that inseam of the right foot, reaching away from the crown of the head. Exhale, squeeze down. Inhale, reach away. Last one like that. And this time you can drop the knee to the floor if you want. We're going to sweep our arms up. Exhale, both hands come back down to the floor as we exhale. Plant the hands, step the left leg back, you're in plank. Press the floor away from you. Melt the heart down. Of course, your knees can be on the floor, and if they are, draw your hips forward as well. And just hold. Just rock a little bit from side to side. Here again, working the shoulder or the wrist a little bit. You can go forward and back. And then we're going to come a little forward as we bend the elbows and start to lower down towards the floor. Tops of the feet flat. Inch them back a little bit so that there's more space in the front of the pelvis. Walk your arms wide and start to peel yourself up off the floor. Pulling the hands back slowly, re-peeling yourself to the floor about an inch farther forward. Let the head touch the mat. Inhale back up again. And exhale down. Keep going. Find the rhythm and the smoothness and the fluid feeling through the spine. Notice here as we rock back and forth that if you still feel the belly muscles, it's a great stretch after all that abdominal work. Slide the hands back now, press hands and knees into the floor to lift up. Cat tail all the way back, coming through child's pose, back of the neck long, moving towards the fingers, stretch out, downward facing dog. And here, just wiggling out your heels a little bit. You can drop one heel to the floor, bend the other knee, feel the upper arms drawing back. Feel the wrist energetically reaching forward and up. And then just coming into a moment of stillness, noticing if the body still wants to move and just being comfortable with you in this spot. One more breath here. Look forward, let's take our right leg forward. to inch that left heel back in space a little bit so it's more perpendicular to the floor, the sole of the foot. From the back foot, lengthen up and out through the crown of the head. And as we draw the legs towards each other, exhale, drop that back knee towards the floor. Inhale, reach it away, lengthening it away from the head and the heart. Exhale, drop the knee, try to keep the hips level. Inhale, lift it back up. 1, 2 more, I guess. And here's our last one like this. Beautiful. Now we're going to tap the knee to the floor if you want as we sweep up one breath. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step that back leg forward. Planted in line about hip width apart from your right one, fold forward. Hands can even be on the feet. It's cold out, so notice that your feet are probably a little chilly and your hands can feel like little gloves for your toes. Pressing down to the floor, let's roll ourselves up for the first one. And as we root down to the floor, we'll lift the arms up nice and high, reaching them away from the feet, and then slide the hands back down through your heart. Be slow and mindful as you move through this. Heart up into the hands. Keep the heart lifted, release your hands. Just take a moment to feel yourself in your own power. Inhale, we'll lift up again, palms together, looking up. And we'll fold forward as we exhale. Hands to the shins, lengthen into your flat back. Hands to the floor, we'll step our left leg back. This time, walk, inching the foot back, pulling the legs towards each other, reach the heart away. Exhale, start to come down. Now hold here for an extra breath, giving all that contraction through that quad. On your next inhale, we'll lift back up. Exhale, drop it all the way to the floor or don't. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Pull the legs towards each other. Reach the left arm forward, reach the right arm back. Big twist here. Beautiful. Let's take that it's the right arm. Sweep it all the way back, forward and up. And both hands to the floor. Plant them, step the right leg back. You're in plank pose. Now you can stay here in plank pose if you want to, what's the word? Make it a little bit more challenging because I can't think of the word. You can just start to walk your hands and feet away from your mat. Hello, and then back. Maybe to the other side. And back. Just a little fun. Fun off the mat, come down. And this time, try to keep the hands where they are. Can you roll yourself up, or is it too early? And just be mindful, if it is too early, there's nothing wrong with keep taking the arms out and waiting for your body to warm up. But if it is ready, you can try your rolls up with the hands in right underneath the shoulder blades. One last time, roll up. And as you come back down, if your hands are out, slide them back, press hands and knees into the floor, lift up. And again, we'll cat tilt all the way back through child's pose. Back of the neck long, make our way up, downward facing dog. This time, just leave the hands, leave the feet exactly where they are. We'll just maintain this stillness. Trying to feel, instead of a weight dropping down into the floor, this energy drawing up out of the floor, lifting our hips up a little higher. The upper arms drawing back so the neck and the collarbone's nice and soft and easy. There's space there. We just get caught or lost in our breath for 2 more rounds. On your next inhale, let's look forward and take our left leg forward. Walk that right foot back a little bit in space, lengthen. As we exhale, we'll start to drop that back knee towards the floor. Hold for an extra breath. Beautiful, stretch it out. And then as we exhale, we'll drop the knee again, sweep the arms up. Right arm comes forward, left arm draws back. We reach, big twist, belly in, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then take that left arm back to the front, both arms lift up. Exhale, we bring our hands to the floor, we'll step that back leg forward. Plant it, fold. Inhale, lengthen into your flat back. And then exhale all the way back down. And see, did you just drop a little bit more? That's the cool thing about, I think, that flat back, is it does allow you to get a little bit more space. Press down to the floor. Let's flat back up this time, arms overhead. And slide the hands back down to the heart. Beautiful. Heart up into the hands, inhale. Keep the heart lifted, exhale the hands. Right, so moving into sun one now. So inhale, palms together, look up. Exhale, we'll fold forward. Hands to the shins, Ardha Uttanasana. We'll place the hands to the floor. This first one will step back into plank pose. Make sure here your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. And then we're gonna reach our shoulders just a little bit more forward. So there's a little bit more of a crease in the wrist. From here, decide, do you wanna keep the knees off the floor? Then go for it. We're gonna come down 2 inches. And then push the floor away from you as you exhale. You can do that through your nose. Inhale, come 2 inches, maybe 4. Hold, lengthen from heels through head. Push the floor away from you, you're back up. This time coming into Chaturanga, all the way. It's about 6 inches now. And we'll come all the way to the floor. Loop the shoulders, come up into a little cobra. Now notice here, in this position, my wrists are pretty much underneath my shoulders. I like them a little bit more. I'm gonna walk them back just a little more. Again, loop the shoulders, and as I roll up this time, keeping my elbows bent, I'm gonna start to push. I'm gonna start to feel the bottom tip of the shoulder, lifting the heart up a little bit, press into the feet, and lift the thighs up, your upward facing dog. This should not bother your low back at all. If it does, don't come into it. Exhale, downward facing. So here, if you want, you can settle in for a breath, just kind of moving yourself around, and then find that stillness again. And use this pose as your refuel. Inhale, filling yourself with energy. Exhale, releasing what does not serve you. Maybe the feeling of, I hate this pose. Get rid of that on your next exhale. Two more breaths. As we inhale, lift the heels up nice and high. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, make your way back to the front. And fold. Lengthen into your flat back. And release lower this time if it feels comfortable. If it works for you, it does for me. So it's like I like to mention these things. Press down to the floor, all the way up on your inhale with the flat back comes together. And hands to the heart. Heart up into the hands. Release the hands. Do it again. Look up, palms together. Exhale, fold. Hands to the shins, lengthen. Hands to the mat. Now this time, if you want to hop right back into Chaturanga, from that flat back, you've got all this length. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders. Keep the heart reaching forward. Bend the knees. And then shoot the legs back as the elbows bend. Bend. That way, as we roll ourselves up, we come right into that upward facing dog, and it should feel relatively, fluid. Exhale, downward facing. 3 breaths. Hands connecting, feeling that energy draw all the way up through the arms, through the waist, up to the hips, and beyond. Plant the heels back down to the tops of the thigh bones, draw back. Reach the heart forward towards the wrists, which are lifting up, energetically lifting up and off the floor, forward. We'll lift the heels up nice and high. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, make your way to the front. And fold. Hands to the shins, coming flat back. Hands back to the floor as we go a little deeper, pressing down through the floor, flat back all the way up, hinging from the hips, palms together. Exhale, hands come to the heart, and then heart up into the hands. Beautiful. Take a moment. Exhale, release your hands. Take another moment. What's it feel like in there? Do you feel grounded, or are you feeling a little wobbly? And if you feel a little wobbly, take this moment to really connect down through the four corners of each foot. From your hips, feel the weight drop down, and then feel yourself lengthen up and out through the crown of the head. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift up, palms together. Exhale, we'll fold. Hands to the shins, lengthen. Hands to the mat, make your way through a vinyasa. Whatever that means to you. So we're going to take our right leg and we're going to lift it all the way up and back behind us. And from your hands, reach down and forward as you reach that leg up and back. Try to keep the hips level. Coming forward, drawing the knee towards the chest, coming into hanging plank. Inhale, stretch that leg all the way up and back. Now you can do the same thing again, or this time take your knee, try to hug it into your left underarm. Hold here, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that leg all the way up and back. And we'll take it forward now towards the left thumb. And we'll sweep ourselves up into a lunge. Let's take the right arm forward again as we twist the left arm back. Big twist. And then sweep that left arm forward, both palms up, lift up. Let's open up into a warrior 2. We'll drop the back hand and lift the top arm up and over. Beautiful. Inhale back up. As we come down, let's take both hands onto the inside of that left leg. Unplug that back heel, so we're in a lizard pose. In lizard pose, you can drop that back knee to the floor if you want, and wherever that back foot or knee is on, lengthening the heart and head away from that. Feel your left buttock tuck under or in towards the midline, left knee hugging in towards the midline. Breathe. If you want in this pose, you can come down onto your forearms. But notice where your heart is. If you just rounded and the heart is hiding in the back of your rib cage, come back up again, reach the heart forward. Another thing you can do to make this just a little bit kind of in between is bring your forearms onto a block. Here again, be mindful of that left knee. It wants to head out and we want to drop back in. Excellent. Let's walk our hands out towards the right. Big left side stretch. Try not to let your right heel draw in towards the midline, so it's still straight, reaching out to the back of the mat. And then we're going to turn our left hand back to that left thigh. I'll spin myself so you can see. And we're spinning it out and we're opening up our chest in the opposite direction, as if we're opening up a book. And the first page is at the belly button, trying to reach up towards the sky. Right heel still lined up, not drawing in. Excellent. And then coming back down, we'll crawl down the long edge of the mat. We'll turn the right toes out and pull that left foot towards us. And you can be up high here. The right knee does not have to come into a deep crease, but we want to get an inner groin stretch to the left side. Excellent. Let's crawl back to the front of the mat. And then we'll make our way back into a vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Here we are again. So settling into your downward facing dog, feeling the energy of your arms not rooting down. Well, it is rooting down to the floor, but there's also this equal opposite feeling of lifting up and out through the hips, drawing the thigh bones back. Upper outer arms back. Comfort in the neck, the shoulders. I'm going to take our right leg now. Let's go all the way up. Reach it up and away. And then come forward into hanging plank, nice and slow. Inhale, we'll stretch the leg up and away again. And you can again come into the same thing, or this time bringing the knee to that high underarm, squeeze there, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch that leg all the way up and back. And then forward towards the thumb. Make your way up into a lunge. Left arm comes forward, right arm reaches back, twist. We'll sweep that right arm back and up. And then both hands come forward onto the inside of that right leg, coming into lizard pose. So lizard. Back knee reaching up and away, can still stay on the floor. The right knee is hugging in, the left ankle is hugging in. So we're trying to feel the inner thighs, or both inner thighs, hug to that midline. And the head is reaching away, as is the heart. If you want here, if it's available, you can come down onto your forearms. Now, be mindful of where the heart just dropped into. Is it back in the back of the body now? And if it is, bring it back forward, whatever that takes. If that means lifting yourself back up, then you lift yourself back up. Breathe. Start to walk your hands down walk out to the left. Feel that side stretch first. I didn't say this on the other side, but I always forget really kind of fun things. You can take your right arm and just start to reach it out a little bit more. Explore the side stretch here. And then we're going to take that right arm back, hold on to the inner thigh, spin that inner thigh out, and spin the belly up and away from it as if you're opening up a book. Notice what's going on in that left heel again. It wants to splay out, don't let it. Beautiful, and then coming back down, we'll walk down the long edge of the mat. Pulling the front foot towards the back. Oh, I forgot to do the warrior. It's okay, we'll get a lot of warriors in. Let's crawl back to the front of the mat. And step back and move through vinyasa. Downward dog. Inhale, we're going to lift our heels up nice and high. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, make your way back to the front. Lengthen and fold. Press down to the floor, make your way all the way up, arms overhead. And then sliding the hands right back down through your heart. Lifting the heart up, dropping the shoulders down, feeling your feet, release your arms. How's your mountain going? So notice if your breath is different. And if it starts to feel a little rushed, can you slow it down and make it a little bit more deep instead of rushed? Notice with each exhale, you can root down a little bit more through the soles of the feet. Really feel grounded. All right, so let's move into sun 2. So we're going to bend our knees, sit back a little bit, sweep the arms up, and pull the shins back, reaching the fingers away from the tailbone, start to draw back. Look at your toes, you can wiggle them. Belly in, arms reaching, heart reaching up. Gaze reaching up. Exhale, we'll peel over the legs and fold forward. Hands to the shins, lengthen. Make your way through a vinyasa. Stick our right leg forward. up into warrior one. So spin that back heel to the midline. We'll wrap the right arm around and stretch the left arm forward. From the back of the heart, start to draw yourself up. Release the right arm, bring it up towards the left one, bend that front knee. Drop the shoulders down and feel the outer upper arms kind of envelop and come forward, bringing the palms together. Beautiful. Exhale, let's open up warrior two. Drop the back hand, lift the top arm up. Lift the heart again. One last exhale here. Inhale back to warrior. Unplug that back here, you're in a high lunge. And then find the floor. Moving through to your second side. Left leg comes forward, right leg spins to the midline. There's space between the heels. Left arm comes around, right arm reaches. From the back of the heart, feel yourself being drawn up. Soften that shoulder down. Release the right arm, left arm, both palms together. Hold. Feel the shoulders soften. Can you take this pose and just release about 10-15% of the effort? Exhale, release warrior two. Drop the back hand, we'll come through our exalted warrior. Heart lifts up and away. Back to your warrior. Unplug the back heel, you're in a lunge. Both hands find the floor. Vinyasa. Gonna move again, so right leg lifts up. Reach it forward towards the right thumb. Up, right away, warrior two. Drop the back hand, you're exalting your warrior. Come back to warrior two, unplug that back heel, we're getting back into a high lunge. From here, we're gonna take our hands onto our front thigh. We're gonna reach our head forward, eventually starting to roll off the back leg and coming into warrior three. Now, if you want here, you can take your hands to your blocks and lengthen the inner left heel away from the crown of the head, belly in, heart melting. If you're still holding on to your leg here, just see if you can keep both hips looking, hugging in towards each other. And you can even start to build strength in that right leg by bending and straightening. So using your body weight to build muscle in that right leg, hugging into the midline. Beautiful. All right, we're going to drop that left foot again, lift up. And then both hands find the floor. Moving through your vinyasa. Taking a break for a moment in your dog. Okay, let's take the left leg now, bring it forward. Right away up, warrior two. Drop the back hand, you're an exalted warrior. Back through warrior two. Unplug that back heel, hand to the front thigh. Reach the head forward. Again, if you're using a block, just start to find a way. I find it's all about that back leg. See how it moves? So if I can slowly and push the leg forward, it's just a nice way to build up a little strength to your feet too. Belly in, lengthen from heel through head. Inner thighs reaching, or inner right thigh reaching back towards the wall behind you, away from the crown of the head. You can stay here with your hands on your blocks. You can keep your hands on your thigh. You can start to build some strength by bending and straightening that left leg. Hug the outer hips towards each other. One last breath. And then we're going to take that right leg back, coming up through a high lunge. And then open up five-pointed star. Take the right hand down. We'll stretch the left arm up, coming into this Vinny version of triangle pose. Now, can you feel from your left toes, which are facing forward, both feet facing forward, reach the foot and the hand away from one another. Nice big stretch to the side. And notice also the left shoulder is leaning up against that imaginary wall, as is your head. Can your heart lift up towards that hand in the air? Inhale all the way back up through both sides, nice and tall. And we'll switch to the second side. Reach. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up. Five-pointed star. Draw your heels in, goddess pose. Press out to the forearms. Pull the sides of the ribs back. Notice here, I'm not leaning forward. I'm kind of up. That's why as the sides of the ribs come back, you really start to feel that work in your hips here. Stretch up. Exhale, bend back down. And up. And up. Maybe a little lower. Pull the legs towards each other, ears back, heart lifted. Shins drawing back. Feel this work here. If you just let the body kind of dump, you may notice the weight here. We want to feel it here. One last moment, one last breath. And then bringing your mind's eye right into those feet, push them down. And stretch everything straight. From here, top the feet together. Excellent. Shake out the legs. Okay. Feet together. We're going to have a little fun, a little marching. A little slower than marching, but marching nonetheless. Pressing down to the left leg. Take the right knee up. And the knee lined up with the hips. Perfect. And down. Left leg. And down. Right leg. Down. And left leg. So trying to move really from the inner thigh. Try not to move around through the hips too much. Feeling that as you lift the right leg up, the left leg just roots. As you lift the left leg up, the right leg just roots. All right, from here, we're going to come back. Press down to the left leg. We'll keep that right leg lifted. You can take your hands to your hips if you want to keep the tailbone from sticking out behind you. It's drawing down, so flat sacrum. Not under, just down. Stretch the right leg straight. Bring it back in. Now, as the leg goes straight, did your shoulders draw back? And if they did, be mindful. We want to keep the inner thighs both spitting back, leg straightens. If this is too hard, you can hold on to the back of the thigh and stretch the leg straight. 4, sorry. And let's do 5, hold, 5, 4, 3, sit up nice and tall, 2, 1, draw that knee in high. Woo! And down, shake it out. Second leg, press down through the right leg. We're going to take that left knee up, just knee in line, lined up with hip. Root down through the standing leg. We'll straighten that right leg out, left leg out and dip back. As you stretch the leg out, inner thighs both spitting back so the shoulders, upper body doesn't move. 3, 4, and last one, we hold it out. 5, and again, you can hold on. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Coming down. Now you can do that version again. If you feel comfortable enough to do this with the straight leg, we're going to take our hand out so it's about as high as our hip, and we're just going to lift the leg up, try to touch. 1. Nice and slow. 2. 3. 4. Don't kick it. Slow. 5. Whew. Second side. See, it's not so cold outside, is it? Press down through your right leg. Left arm comes up. 1. 2. 3. Now notice, I'm not leaning back as I'm doing this. This is all work through the leg. 3. 4. And 5. Excellent. Shake it out. Just a second. Let me just somebody back in. Welcome back. Okay. Come back into 5-pointed star. So we're going to take our right hand and we're going to stretch it over towards the left. And you can plant it down if you want, but you also don't have to. What I want you to feel here is, again, that inner thigh stretch, reaching that arm forward. Belly in as we come back up, 5-pointed star. Second side, reach. Come back up. 3, I guess 2. Excellent, just keep going. We'll do another 2 sets, so make 5 sets. So be mindful of what we're trying to do here is stretch our inner groins. Now we're coming down to the right. We're going to hold here. Is this our second side or our first side? Who knows? So this is now our first side. Now pull the legs towards each other and reach that right arm up towards the sky. Your left toes are facing forward, not towards the left. Beautiful. Sweep yourself back up, 5-pointed star. Second leg, so big inner thigh stretch, reaching that arm out, and then a twist, looking up at that left arm. Back of the neck nice and long. Breathe. One last breath here. And then inhale all the way back up. A little easy one now. We're going to hinge forward from the hips and come down. From the tailbone, lengthen out to the crown of the head. We'll add a twist here, planting the left hand to the midline. You can slide the right arm up through the inner arm, through both collarbones, lifting that right elbow up towards the sky. Now be mindful of where hug your underarm in, keep that shoulder on the back, and if your elbow is reaching back behind you and your shoulder is forward, I want you to draw the elbow a little bit more forward and up. And then float the arm up. That's got to be uncomfortable for you, huh? Because your arm is all wonky there. Spin the crown of the, reach the crown of the head away from the tailbone, spin the rib cage around. Try to keep your left hip lifting up and back. It's all a twist to the belly, not to the hip here. Exhale, we'll bring that hand back down and fold. You can wiggle out the hips a little bit. Wiggle out the head. Plant the right hand in the center. We're going to take that left arm up through the inner arm, both collarbones. Elbow lifts up towards the sky. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Draw your right hip back towards the right and up so it's level with the left side. And then float that left arm up. Lengthen the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Breathe. Beautiful. Bring that hand back down. And just take a moment as you again wiggle a little bit from side to side. All right, so we're going to move back into Skandasana. So pull it, you can walk your legs a little wider, turn the right toes in and pull that left leg towards you. So I learned a new little trick, which is kind of cool. So we have done this before. I'll show you this one that we come down to the floor and back. And everyone looks at me like, oh my God, that's insane. It's not, it's just a progression. And one way to get there is to place a block at the thigh. Not so hard to get in now, is it? Excellent. And in this position, the shin is drawing back, both legs are hugging towards each other. We can even lift the arms up here and feel super strong. Excellent. Keep drawing the left toes up, pulling the heel back towards the right heel. Heart lifting up. Beautiful. Bring the hands back down. Crawl back up. Just wiggle out the legs. Let's try the second side and draw that block over to the second side if you want. Pull the leg towards. Let the block hold that right leg up. Reach the arms up. Of course, your hands can be here too if you feel the lift up in the arms is too high. Excellent. Hands back down and roll back up. Just kind of inching a little bit from side to side. Let's do one more. Same thing again if you want. If that was really kind of like, oh, that was no problem, go lower. Take the block to the next level. This is how we start to progress. Now, this isn't a very quick progression. Esther Myers, I loved her analogy. If you want to get somewhere, take a telephone book, which we don't have anymore, and just every day rip out a page. So, 2-3 years later, we're right on the ground doing what we want to do. All right, coming back up, press into the floor, lift the hips up, roll to the second side. Bring it lower. There we go. I have company today. Beautiful. Both hands back down, crawl up. And let's come right to the back of the mat, back into a downward facing dog. And then walking all the way up into a forward fold. Wide angle forward fold. At the back of the mat. All right, take your hands to your hips, come flat back up. Bend your knees a little bit, reach the tailbone and the head away from each other. And then pressing down through the feet, feel the back of the heart being drawn up to the back of the mat. All right, here we are standing at the back of the mat. Take a moment, give yourself a good stretch. Okay, and wiggle out your hips. We're gonna coming into a squat here. So I know, if you've got knee issues, you're gonna stay high. And you're gonna pull the legs back and you're gonna practice building strength in the muscles around the knee. Right, that's what we wanna do. And as you sit in this pose, if there's knee issues going on, you're saying to your knees, I'm trying to protect you here. No, it sounds so ridiculous, but it does, any effort in, eventually, who knows if it certainly works better than ignoring them, right? So here I am, knees trying to build some strength for you. Is it helping? All that stuff. If it's okay to come down, you're gonna come down because we're gonna come into a little bit of crow. So if you're in this pose and you can go low, look at how your knees are into your upper arms. Now press them into one another, draw your belly in and see how my low back is or my upper back is rounded. Watch as I press into my knees, my back straightens. I'm gonna place my hands on the floor and I'm just gonna try to lift my toes up. And then eventually I'm gonna walk up to the mat, up to the top of the mat this way. Trying to keep the hands or the knees into those upper arms. Squeeze them in. As you come forward, if they're in your upper arms, keep them them together. Place them back down and rest. You're gonna do that the whole way up. And if you're, it's impossible, the idea of lifting your toes up is just like, yeah, there's no chance, then try one leg. Bring it down, try the other leg. See how much weight you can take out of that second leg before you get scared. Right. And then one last one, we're just gonna go backwards for a second because I do find that sometimes just pushing the legs back makes it a little bit easier. So plant the hands, roll forward, and then just press the feet back. And see if that helps lift you up. And if you fall over, how much fun is that? When was the last time you fell over? And then we'll release, come down to the floor. Whew. Just a little check-in, all good? Excellent, okay, good. All right, so let's do a little bit of hip stuff. Any requests? Okay, let's take that right leg in. Your heel is pretty much lined up with your sit bone, so if you were standing, your feet wouldn't be together here, they would be about hip width apart. Squeeze yourself up that right leg. Press down through the right leg, see if you can lift the left leg up. Hold, 5, 4, you can press your heel back, away from you and then point the toe. And then down. Lift that right leg up. And then open it up, grab hold of the ankle and just start to rock it a little bit. Back behind you, out to the left, back behind you, forward. Just getting into that hip joint a little bit. And then we're gonna bring it back into this baby cradle. So baby cradle is a challenge. Taking a half baby cradle, right, same arm as leg underneath and holding up the leg. It's a lot easier. One of the things I don't like about this version is it makes the leg very soft. And I wanna keep that big toe really pressing into the left arm to keep the work in the hip, not in the knee. So again, notice if you've rounded down here, that we don't want. So another thing you wanna be mindful of is a nice, tall, straight spine. Roll to the front of your sits bones, that'll help. And in this baby cradle position, you can just start to rock that leg back and forth. So you can stay up, but it's Saturday, so I'm gonna offer those that want just a little bit more, something a little different than usual. This pose actually, you can start to roll yourself all the way down to the floor and make this a little bit more intense. Pressing still the right big toe mound into the left bicep, still kind of rocking that leg a little bit from side to side. So, in an ideal world, this left leg would be straight and relaxed on the floor, but that's where I can see that I still have some tension in my hips because I'm human. Keep going. So you can plant your left foot to the floor. We're going to take that right leg up. And now just walking your hands up. You can roll your body up. Try to bring your heart towards your knee or your thigh. Ears back, and then can you roll your shoulders back down towards the floor? Can you hold on to that foot? If all of this seems like crazy, just hold on wherever. We're still just getting stretched. We're trying to elongate through those legs. In a sense, if you want, you can imagine taking the biggest step that you've ever taken in your life here, keeping both hips facing towards each other. Beautiful. Let's bend that knee again. Draw it into the chest. Going to take the left leg up and holding on to the right leg, just kick that left leg straight and look at that knee roll up with such fun. All right, let's switch to the second leg. We'll take the left leg in. We'll hug it in. We'll roll ourselves up nice and tall. We'll press down through that left leg. We're going to take that right leg up. Press out to the heel, and the toe, and the heel. And we'll place that back down. Take that left leg up. Draw it in. Roll again to the front of the sits bones. Stretch that leg back behind you. Out forward. Behind you. To the side. Just start to play here with getting into that joint a little bit. Beautiful. And then we're going to take it across the body as we come into our thread the needle pose. Now you want to try to get that shin so that it is parallel to the mat, so the heel is not down. We don't want to hang, we want to sit up nice and tall. You can always do this version, it makes it a lot easier, rocking back and forth. If you are doing this version, just be mindful of pressing that left big toe into the bicep. Keeping that action out of the knee and into the hip joint. Sit up tall. So notice if you've lost your waist here. And also notice that as you roll to the front of your sit bones, it's hard to not find your waist. Right, so keep there. I'm going to start to, if you want, roll ourselves down. So as you roll down, you may notice that leg doesn't want to stay down. If it has to roll up, you can, this is fine. This is how we play with going deeper into this pose. If you've got to bend that knee, then bend the knee, but you can rock a little bit back here from side to side. Couple more breaths, feeling that release of tension through the outer left hip, down into the mat. Beautiful. And then let's stretch that leg up towards the sky. And start to walk your hands up the leg, heart coming towards the knee or the shin or at least the thigh. Heart reaching up towards the toe, so you're not reaching with your head, only with your heart. And then seeing what would happen if you start to roll the shoulders back down towards the floor. This is when ponytails help sometimes. Imagine taking the biggest step of your life. Beautiful. And then we're going to draw that knee back into the chest. Take the right leg up. And we can kick it forward. And here we are back again, seated. Okay, just take a moment here. Let's come into round angle. Just stretch out that back a little bit. As much as, trying to keep the torso straight here. I know it's hard, so we kind of think a lot. And we don't want to do that. It does get a little bit, tight in there. So here, as you pull the legs towards each other, feel both sides of the waist, front and back, lengthen. Beautiful. You start to rock a little bit from side to side. And start to reach the heart a little bit forward, pulling the legs back. See if that feels good. So just here looking for a place to soften into for a moment to get a good stretch. And then we're going to come back up, hold on to the knees, and we'll roll ourselves all the way back down to the floor. Knees or feet are probably going to lift up. Stretch the legs up towards the ceiling, stretch the arms up over your head. Press the low back into the floor. Let's take our hands to our thighs. And as we press the belly button down towards the mat, just press the thighs away from you. Breathe. Beautiful. We're going to draw the knees to our chest. We're going to take the arms out to the side and just add a little side twist or side abdominal twist. Taking the knees high, high, high. Just bring them down towards the right, keeping the knees as close up towards that right hand as possible. Squeeze the knees in. Look over your left shoulder. Beautiful. If you want to stretch the legs out straight, it's a lot of work in that back. Be mindful. Reach out to the heels. Draw the knees back in. We'll open up one leg at a time. Come back to center. Give yourself a squeeze. Moving to the second side. Arms come out to the side. Both knees start to drop to the left. High up as can be. Press into that right arm. And again, if it feels like it's possible to stretch the legs out, go for it, but be mindful, it's a lot of work. As you can see from how I talk when my legs are out straight. Bend those knees again, roll back up. Give yourself a little rocking from side to side. Stretch the legs back up again. And keeping that low back on the floor, so you may want to keep your hands underneath your thighs to make that happen. Arms can be wherever. We're going to lower the legs a little bit. Low back still down on the floor, lower them a little bit more. And more. Now you get to a certain part where you really want to feel kind of how you want to build the muscles in your body, in your abdominal. So think about it. If the work is all here, which is where it can land up, can you add your transverse abdominal muscles, those low muscles, draw them in as you bring the legs down a little further, and even a little further here, reaching them away. Excellent. One last time, and then let's bend the knees, coming into a nice little bridge pose to stretch that out. Hold on to the edges of the mat, pull the mat apart, open up the chest. Press the back of the head into the floor, and don't look at me at this point, just close your eyes. Feel the heart lifting up off the mat. Feel the shoulder blades encouraging that lift. Collarbones open and wide. Back of the head softly pressing down so the chin lifts up. And then press down to the feet. And as you lift the hips up, pull the shins back. And reach the knees away. And you'll get this great stretch to your belly. Back of the neck is not on the floor. Your heart is reaching towards your chin. Your chin is lifting towards the ceiling. You can stay like this, pulling the mat apart, or you can take your hands and interlace them behind your back. And holding for another couple of breaths here. Feeling your belly stretch as you inhale. And just softening and releasing on the exhale. As you feel the exhale, feel the outer hips lift and the inner thighs soften. Let's do that one a few more times. Excellent. And then we're going to release the hands. And slowly start to roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. As you press the low back into the floor, you can draw the knees to your chest. And as if you're slow dancing with yourself, just start to inch the hips a little bit more forward. Belly and thighs connect. Feeling that subtle motion as you lengthen through the low back. And when you feel nice and long, and you can start to reach your feet up towards the ceiling, holding onto the feet or the ankles or the backs of the knees. You can drop the elbows down, reach the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Breathe. You want to rock around here a little bit, be more like a happy baby than a dead bug. Feel free. What lovely positions can you get yourself into? What really feels nice at this point in practice? So as you release the legs, we'll bring your feet as wide as the mat. And just start to winch your way with the legs a little bit from side to side. You can reach the opposite wrist away from where the knees are bending. Switch sides. Coming back through center. Notice if there's any last poses that you'd like to do before you make your way to Shavasana. Feel free to decide that you are complete. And if there was a pose that you were doing that was one-sided, please start to move to the second side and then, eventually make your way into Shavasana. So as you settle down into the floor here, just notice the fruits of your labor. Notice how there's a heightened sense of awareness to the body. And use it as you, move through, relaxing, taking a moment, feeling the energy of your feet that's been heightened because of the effort that we've put into all this breathing, all this paying attention. And just notice that as you exhale, you can feel this physical dropping of the legs into the mat. Notice how nice that feels. And then keep moving up. Do the same thing through your hips, your low back. Feel it through your shoulders. So I'm going through the areas that have big bones because it makes it even easier to feel. So through your shoulders and arms. Feel your head sinking deeper and deeper into your mat. Feel your eyes and ears sink deeper and deeper into the mat. And then bring your awareness back into the torso area and just feel each exhale gives you an opportunity to soften a little bit more. Feel more release.
Today's Daily Om is called Everything is Relative. Every day we hear stories of personal suffering and loss that far exceed our own. When we compare our situations to those of people living in war-torn countries or those who have lost their homes and livelihoods to natural disasters, it's tempting to minimize our own experiences of suffering. We may feel we don't have a right to be upset about the breakup of a relationship, for example, because at least we have food to eat or a roof over our heads. While awareness of pain of others in the world can be a valuable way to keep our own struggles in perspective, it's not a legitimate reason to disregard our own pain. Disparaging your feelings as being less important than other people's emotions leads to denial and repression. Over time, an unwillingness to experience your own feelings leads to numbness. It's as if our own internal systems become clogged with our unexpressed emotions. This in no way helps other people who are suffering in the world. In fact, it may do just the opposite, because when we devalue our own sorrow, we become impervious to the sorrow of others. Fully experiencing our own hurt is the gateway to compassion towards other human beings. Feelings of loss, abandonment, loneliness, and fear are universal, and in that sense, all feelings are created equal. Regardless of what leads us to feel the way we do, our comprehension of what it means to be human is deepened by our own experiences. Our personal lives provide us with the material we need to become fully conscious. If we reject our emotions because we think our experiences are not as dramatic or important enough, we are missing out on our own humanity. We honor and value the human condition when we fully inhabit our bodies so we can experience and feel life fully. Accepting our emotions and allowing ourselves to feel them connects us to all human beings. Then, when we hear the stories of other people's suffering, our hearts can resonate with understanding and compassion for all of us. So you can begin to deepen your breath. As the energy starts to move through you and down through your arms, down through your legs, encourage the subtle movements, enjoy them. Stretch, yawn. Move in every way that feels good. And then just take a little bit of time on your side, settling in to a new way of being. We finished the practice. Here we are on the other end, just feeling the beautiful, subtle sensations of the practice, the benefits. And we let that feeling of delight rush through us, noticing that it becomes even more present as we connect it to our breath. We thank ourselves for this beautiful sensation that we get from all the work that we put into our practice. And then you can make your way up to seated. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands to your heart up into your hands. Taking a moment to honor all the work that you put into this practice, give yourself a lot of thanks. Taking a moment to recognize the help that we're getting from our community. And then just sending out, all this wonderful feeling to each other and to the rest of the world. We'll do that with the sound of Om. So take a nice big inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. Inhaling to Om. Letting that sound root us down, resonate, connect us even deeper. We'll bring our hands to our heart as a reminder that our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, guys. That was fun.